Radiant team ban.
Huh.
Dire team
Is that
ban.
coming?
Radiant team
LFY
pick.
last played at what? Summit? Or was it LGD? That was LGD, right? Yeah, no, you're right, because that was they were doing like the Sven tri-lanes and stuff with like AA. And then VG last played at the Galaxy
remaining.
Battle.
5 seconds remaining.
Sand King.
Oh yes.
Dire team pick.
Yeah, if I was actually watching that game, I'm like, huh, mid AA. You know, when the hero first came out in Dota 1, that's where everyone played AA, played a mid.
10 seconds remaining.
Better ban that
5
AA.
seconds remaining.
What a time Dota just comes full circle, you know?
Reserve
He's trying to
time.
bring back the mid AA. Not successful yet. Figure it out.
Earth Spirit.
Probably not for long.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think the general
5
consensus
seconds
among
remaining.
a lot of teams is saying King is the best four, or top two, along with like
Reserve time.
like these are the heroes tested almost every game. NS being
Radiant
first ban.
team pick.
Bristleback. All right.
Ten seconds remaining.
Definitely a very hard hero to deal with, especially because
5 seconds
put in the
remaining.
multiple, you can actually play in all three lanes.
Reserve time.
Yeah, actually, I caught the end of that one.
Death Prophet.
Dire
Again.
team ban.
Think about it. You feel like DP is pretty good against Bristol just because you have that like percentage health drain ability along with a long silence. But I know what you mean. Bristleback sometimes just will stack up. It
10
does not
seconds
care about the damage
remaining.
at all. It becomes this unkillable monster.
5 seconds remaining.
What did you guys think of
Reserve time.
Uh-oh. That scares me. I am not gonna tune into what that means.
Radiant team
I'll
ban.
have you know I'm normal sized.
Dire team ban.
I feel like LFY adopted a lot of new strategies when Afu joined. Like at whatever it was the first tournament that they were playing, Afu was like most played
10
hero.
seconds remaining.
Competitive was like ET. And then they started playing ET like in the support role and ET
5 seconds
off lane.
remaining.
It just feels like he just brought a whole new perspective.
Radiant team ban.
Home and played in different
10
ways.
seconds
And when you
remaining.
start transferring players from one region to another, you get that transfer of information that doesn't happen otherwise.
Dire
Yeah, it's
team
like
pick.
each region's in their own little bubble with their meta,
Yeah.
you know. And then you mix and match and you kind of figure out what heroes are good against this, how to abuse this hero in a certain way. And then you just get like this, well, hopefully, you know, good like mixture of ideas. Sometimes they
10
kind of ruin
seconds
things.
remaining.
It's like it's been working out for them lately.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I guess it depends where the Bristol goes, right? Bristleback can still go to any of the
Radiant
lanes.
team
DP is going to have a decent lane matchup with the help of Sand King, regardless of who she's against. So there'll always be that ramp up for her.
It's very true. So there's still some pretty good heroes against what I mostly
10
or notably
seconds
see is
remaining.
high magic damage, good at laning, also has some kill threat
5
on DP.
seconds remaining.
I don't know how popular league Chinese scene. I know like
Massively.
Reserve time.
yeah, I'm sure it's massive. They were like the first to start playing Lina in like the core role.
And they've adopted, I don't know, who started the build first, but the first time I really saw this build on the big stage was ADR at the Kiev Major. With Shivers and Daedalus after Shadowblade Bloodstone BKB. Pretty much every
Dire
Chinese
team
Lina goes for that kind of build.
Crazy. This like early game hero transitions into the monstrous right click carry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just runs around at max movement, inky.
Just like
ridiculous.
Clears 2 creep waves, then hits a tier
10
3, then
seconds
kills a
remaining.
support in 2 or 3 hits. It's crazy. DP Oracle, False
5
Promise with the
seconds
ghosts coming
remaining.
back, sustains her, saves her from any initiations. It's the age-old combo.
Reserve time.
Very good against Disruptor too, because he usually wants to single out that one target. Oracle, obviously very good at single target counter initiation. Tons of synergy with deep all the heals.
And decent combo with the Sand King as well, right? You've got the lockdown and the nuke damage between your 2 supports.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely set each other up.
Storm Spirit.
But Oracle level
Radiant
level 1 to
team
3, not the
pick.
best laner, I feel. Especially if
Yeah,
you're off lane
that's
as a Bristleback. Like, you're going to be in a 2v1 with Sand King roaming. So maybe Sand King will be forced to spend some early time in the safe lane.
This dude hits for 40 damage.
Time to spam buy.
10
lot.
seconds
Just buy
remaining.
6 Fairy Fires, dude.
That's like what spaghetti do then.
Yeah, like these
5
people with
seconds
stout
remaining.
shields and PMS just damage in lane.
I mean, you remember the null
Reserve
null
time.
first Oracle, null first Bane, right? Just
Yeah,
try
that's,
and
level
alleviate some... Yeah, just try and get rid of some of that problem.
Dire team ban.
Terrorblade, alright. Another hero with pretty good synergy against the Oracle, but I mean, I get like the idea behind the hero. He's like a really high armor hero. Even with like Manta +1, he has like 25
10
armor against him,
seconds remaining.
right? But there's 2 big AoE silences and lots of catch form as well.
Radiant team ban.
I guess it does go both. Kind of just man up, but can't kill the heroes. Tanked.
And he's not like a natural Silver Edge carrier or anything like that, right, against the Bristle. So they
Yeah,
have
you look at all 4 of these heroes.
10
Also registered
seconds remaining.
so they have to rely on their heroes or a 5th pick.
5 seconds
Like-
remaining.
Ah.
Radiant team pick.
Tier 2s, and Bristleback won't be relevant enough to D-push.
10 seconds remaining.
But it feels like that window is, not wide
5
enough.
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
it feels like such a slim window, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bristleback's in the safe lane, boom, hits level 7,
Yeah,
Vanguard,
Reserve
true.
time.
unkillable. Yeah, exactly. He can just run in, and then he sets up Disruptor because he can't like sit there and tank this Bristleback. It just allows him to cast all his spells well.
Last pick coming out for
Bat Rider.
Bat Rider, oh,
Dire
nice
team
catch
pick.
there. You're talking about what they need, and I felt like they need some more damage. When you look at, they do have lockdown, and their damage is kind of like over time, right? There's no real big burst damage coming out, and you're not exactly going to be able to burst Bristleback anyways.
10
You gotta
seconds
worry
remaining.
about how they're going to handle this Bristle. Like, he's a good hero at stopping pushes as well
5
when he just
seconds
stands in the
remaining.
front and you can't get around him.
I guess the one good thing going is that they've got kill lanes. Like
Reserve
Sand King
time.
can roam into both mid and top and look for kills. Like Bat Sand King's good against Disruptor +1. Disruptor's super bad against Bat Rider, just like level 1, level 2, especially if there's Burrow Strike to help. Then Sand King can roam mid and look for a kill to help DP on Storm. So maybe they just have Oracle TB bot, let TB farm. If Bristleback's there, it's like whatever, trade experience for gold.
Yeah, very true. The only big problem here is now VG pick any core that they feel is good. So
Yeah.
back, very flexible. It's just so odd to see like this hero second pick so flexible, and then you just don't know what to expect, right? It looks like he's gonna be set up in the offlane here with the Juggernaut last pick. Yang playing him. Yeah. Any of your mics cutting out a lot for me. Discord back in. Not sure exactly how to fix that, but I mean, Juggernaut, it looks like it's a. It's just her, Gareth. You're totally fine. Maybe it's the volume, but she's a lot lower as well. But of course, it can also be this. Just kidding. Discord's perfect. Yeah. I mean, it is possible. Oracle is definitely not good against multiple heroes in lane. Kind of like that hero where you kind of hope to get by, that you're not laning against a difficult lane there. But then again,
Prepare for battle.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll just have to see how they decide to lane it, because they do have tons of options, and of course there's a lot of kill pressure here in the mid lane from DP Sand King, especially on a hero like Storm, who's not great early game. Yeah, LFY definitely have a lane advantage here, but you have to. Some of these scaling cores kind of make me a bit confused about how the game's going to go, just because they don't match up that well.
And again, in game number 3, anything can happen. It's all down to
30
just one
seconds
victory.
to battle.
Is this really what you expect? 1.67 for LFY and 210 for Vici?
Question.
For game 2, for game 3 even. I mean, when it came into this series, I thought LFY
Triple man burrow strike casual from Afu.
then dodges the boulder as well, so he's okay to run away. Coming into this series, before it started, you know, both MRP and I thought it was very close, you know, kind of
The battle
55-45.
begins.
Kills everywhere.
Also a big fan of Vici draft heroes. I feel like they have so much tankability. It's heroes like, how can they kill the healing ward reliably in this game? Bristleback is set up for a pretty decent game here with the Earth Spirit starting down in the bottom lane as well. And this also kind of diverts the attention of Sand King to get more of a better lane for the mid as well. I don't know.
And a lot of LFY's impetus comes from, you know, 5-manning or at least 4-manning into towers with Metamorphosis Exorcism. And then you're walking into Static Storm, walking into, you know, big magnetized combos from Earth Spirit that can line up stuns.
Yeah, there's also the pace difference, right? They play off Metamorphosis on one team, and the other team is playing off Quill Spray. That's a pretty short cooldown.
Yep, that's
Bat nearly died top. Disruptor's just like in between. Yeah, Disruptor's just in between tier 1, tier 2. He just diving in. Chuan doesn't care. Throws out Thunder Strikes. Bat has to go all the way back home, so Inflame needs regen.
Yep, buy some more regen for himself. So things going pretty well for Vici so far. The fact that Yang is just not giving a hoot about all the damage being thrown at him, at least at the early levels, is pretty nice. In towards our mid. This is the first series I think I've seen in these qualifiers where it's a true 1 versus 1, and there's no supports rotating in frequently, no one guarding up these mid laners. It's really just back down to a solo lane.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple of times today. The support. Was that in the NA games earlier today? you know, protecting their Queen of Pain and their Lina, just playing super aggressively, rather than just the Earthspirit and Slardar trading hits.
Just sitting there giving each other the right click, trying to protect each other. Mid lane, I mean, there's an extra creep in there. Gotta secure that, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's all about. Top.
Check one more audio setting.
Huge, dude.
Oh. Chase in, Batrider gonna be fire flying around. How now just spin his way to freedom, so casual damage being thrown out.
This lane's actually pretty good for Batrider. Juggernaut alone can spin and everything like that, but it's hard for him to get really aggressive on. As I say that though, he's getting down, Schwann's coming in too.
The one-hit crit. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Sand King to move. He spent a lot of time bot lane, looking to try and zone out the Bristleback, but Yang just, you know, sticks through it, regens up, keeps getting levels, and then you're losing out on all of the kill potential that we thought would come into mid or top. You know, both Bat and DP really can utilize that one burst strike, that one stun.
Yeah, and that's LFY committing the Metamorphosis down bottom to try to zone out the Bristleback, and now, I mean, this is what happens when you sit in the tri-lane, right? You have Oracle, level 2, just hit level 2, by the way. Same thing with Sand King. TB's almost 3, and Bristleback's 3.5, and he's totally fine now that Metamorphosis has been popped. Like, Sand King actually got to like half health Burrow Strike. Very dangerous, especially with an Earth Sphere rotation here for heroes, but I mean on the opposite side, LFY, they're kind of doing the same thing with their Batrider, right? Disruptor has literally 0 items, but no branches, no tangos.
Oh, poor buddy. Hey, Brax, I think your mic is echoing, and I'm not quite sure what's causing that. We got our Go to TV all set up normally, so.
Do you have me muted in co-broadcasters or whatever?
I do, I just checked.
Let me check.
It sounds normal to us, but apparently on stream it's doubled up.
Is this muted?
That is muted.
Then I...
Haste.
The anti-mute has been fixed. I fixed the soundboard, but the Brax echo, I'm not sure what's causing it.
Possibility on my end. Literally just had these players.
Only Gareth's and I are unmuted. I turned Brax down a little bit, but if he's still echoing, then I don't know.
How strange.
The mute co-broadcasters? Yeah,
Radiant's
double
top
checked it
tower
already.
is under attack.
Got that checked.
Did you turn it off and turn it on again?
I'll try toggling it, sure. While we miss first blood.
Nobody will notice.
We definitely just missed first blood for that.
Don't worry,
Alright,
guys, I caught him.
Batrider did go down in the top lane. Looked like he was just ganked by 2, and How feeling real good about that. Now has an assist under his belt. Well, Chuan just walks away victorious. Once again, Chuan, this support, raking in the kills. Last game it was Visage, now Disruptor.
You know, there's been a whole lot of new players, I would say, this year. Like, for almost all the Chinese teams, there's new mid, right? You have OP from IG, you have Ori from VG, Freeze on VGJ. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of them. I've been very impressed with Ori, actually. I think this guy is quite good.
Oh, roll in, Burrow Strike disengage, Afu just dealing with it like a champ, and now Amy heading towards mid lane. In terms of our mid matchup, I mean, both very even on net worth in terms of right clicks. It's pretty much tied up, DP with a little more assist, so almost level 7 on her, but Storm Spirit just about to get a 6, so that window where he's super fragile, super vulnerable is about to close.
And that's one of the big weaknesses of the hero. He's got a 285 lift speed hero, and he just doesn't lane very well against his early game has been nerfed so heavily that at times he just can't lane, but he's level 6 now, he doesn't care.
What's the big reason that Sand King has been staying bot for so long? Because I feel like there's so much more he could be doing than staying here. And
Yeah, it definitely feels like an overcommitment to this lane where he can't do a whole lot, right? He doesn't offer.
yeah.
Feels like if he were just to try to make plays on mid, even just harass Storm a bit earlier, obviously he can't do it now because he's 6, then they could create a lot more pressure, right? Then maybe Disruptor would feel inclined to make Earthsphere would spend more time there instead of assisting the Bristleback in the bottom. Yang's just diving him right now.
Yeah, well, they're going to go in. The Burrow Strike off the mark, and there's going to be a long-range zip back under the tier 2, so safe escape for him, but the tower's going to take a little bit of heat here. They got the creep wave in a good spot, so Super's first push will be successful. Meanwhile, down bottom, looks like Terrorblade just sitting back behind the tree line. Metamorphosis up, and man, that's a big waste of time for him.
That's a big cooldown wasted. Mid lane, what's going on?
How went in, tried to be a man, but looks like there is going to be an Omni Slash available. Can he make it to the shrine here? Shrine's not available. The Exorcism, is it going to reach him? He caught at the healing ward. He's going to be fine. Whew.
No.
How?
Does he keep his mid tier 1 alive by doing that? Are you kidding me?
How did he do that?
Oh,
Very, very good.
haven't heard that one before.
Unique.
No, either way, Vici, that was the play they needed. The Juggernaut going in and just manning up.
That wasn't the play.
Well,
that was a play. It wasn't the play.
it wasn't the play, but it prevented the tower from going down.
Like, you don't run 1v3 into Exorcism, right? And then spin away and hope you survive.
Well, I mean...
Such a Hal play though, right? This guy's insane.
Yeah.
He does things people that nobody else thinks of, and sometimes he beats doing.
Radiant's middle
He's the
tower
general.
is
Not
under
there,
attack.
though.
He just charges in. But I think going back to your point about, new mid laners, oh, stupid Thunder Lizards, just go back into your account for you. Yeah, your point about new mid laners in China, I think it's just the Chinese scene in general has flourished the past 1.5 or 2 years with academy teams, in-house leagues, and I feel a change in perception about new players from the older, the old guard basically, because it used to be the same 25, 30 players just cycling between teams, getting bought, getting sold, getting traded, and then there was just this key that unlocked the Chinese scene, and they've got, if you think about the current IG with bo3 and Burning. Burning was basically put into a team of 4 ex-DK players who were an academy team, very new, very fresh, basically just high MMR level player, sort of pub players, and he turned them into an actual squad. Utilizing your older players with experience and taking new players and actually forming teams around them, and not just having 5 young players in an academy team, but mixing things up has been great for the Chinese scene, which is something we still don't have in Europe and NA.
Yeah, I mean, you got Burning and Q. Very experienced.
Yeah.
That's a
Death Prophet. They're just going to be sitting back. Just keep channeling up an Exorcism here, just going straight for it. At least wants to finish off this tower. Sand King's there to help her zone up, making sure no one's going to initiate on her, and looks like this is a secured tier 1, just slapping away at the creep wave, and Vici this time don't have how to go in and make the manly plays.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Tron just going to zone with that kinetic field, so LFY, they have to burn an ultimate, but they get exactly what they need. Down bottom, Terrorblade, I mean, he's doing okay for himself. Is this where you want your Terrorblade to be at this point? He's had to burn 2 Metamorphoses now.
He's used 2 Metamorphoses, and the tower's still at full HP. Not great. But of course, no matter what his start is, he's always just gonna fall back to the jungle, get his farm on. Not the end of the world, especially since DP already kind of opened up the map by taking that mid.
Here I am.
Oh, Afu, gonna go try to TP himself out, and Storm Spirit just has to watch it.
I was watching maybe Storm Spirit, and he was actually one of the Storm Spirits that actually gets Electric Vortex early. He had it by like level 4 in like every game, and people would come to gank his lane. It's just like the game changes so much, right? We used to see Storm Spirit with the whole maxed actually at one point. And then now you don't even get it at all.
Because you'd only go level 1 Remnant, right? You go like 144 with the old builds.
Yeah, exactly. What a beautiful game. It just changes.
Yeah. Dota 2.
So when does Storm Spirit... Yeah, he's got his Electric Vortex now at level 9, so gonna be actually able to go and get those lockdown kills that he's looking for, and all of his team are going down. They do have Batrider here with a new lasso to show off. Looks like he's gonna get chased back into the tree line, and Yang's perfectly fine just tanking this up, forcing Bat into a riskier position.
Radiant structures
Bit of
are
possible
fortified.
standoff here.
Yep, they're burning him pretty low. The overcharge doing some damage, but for now, tower just getting a little bit low. Terrorblade is gonna be bailing out into the jungle. I mean, he just can't stay here.
There's like no lane
Top
for
lane.
Terrorblade to go to.
Death Prophet.
Trouble.
Yeah, she's about to get rotated on, so bottom lane, the Batrider forced out. Top lane, the Death Prophet about to lose her life. Looks like she is going to get double silenced up after the Static Storm ends, and yeah, they glimpse her back in. She does get off 2 of the Soul Siphons. Is it going to be enough here? Gets off a 3-man silence, but the right clicks still coming forward. She's getting all the help she can possibly find, and Afu is going to be there. The Storm Spirit jumping forward. Ori looking to make sure she does not make a clean escape, and they finally find her, but Juggernaut goes down in the meantime. This is how a big fight for the Radiant have all made their way up the river. They're going to be able to go and get the root off onto this Earth Spirit. Now Amy going to be killed off as well. It's a 1 for 2 as LFY mobilized like I've never seen before.
That's not meant to happen.
No, definitely not. Perhaps some spells weren't used the most optimally there. And,
Spirit Siphon's very good.
Yep, apparently. Spirit Siphon up all these heroes. No damage left. Spin right out. Whew. And that's going to lead to a tower. I mean, this tower is already pretty low, but being able to secure the enemy safe in a tower like that helps a lot, especially to accelerate Terrorblade's game. Like, once these towers start to drop, he's just got so much more of the map to farm. It's really difficult to catch him now.
And they still have Exorcism if they want to, you know, sneak a Roche, or if they want to go take tier 1 bot lane. There's lots of farm bot lane, actually, for the TB. Did he TP top, or did he walk top?
Who?
He walked.
Terrorblade.
Yeah, he took the long stroll.
Cool.
So actually making it out, and now LFY looking like they're in a much better position than they were. Not getting cornered into their lanes, not having to hide behind their tier 1s, but there's still a long way to go until they're actually able to go and get off that big old team fight going their way, because I feel like that was just some mistakes from Vici.
Yeah, definitely.
So with the double kill, Afu must be close to Blink, so they're giving him farm priority on bot lane, the Sand King. Yeah, he's getting super close to it, like 500 gold, 600 gold.
Yeah, and he's got all the space in the world to get it to. No rush at all.
I was wondering why the TB stopped to kill Ancients, and I realized it was Sand King moving bot to farm. So TB just plays off map for a bit.
Yeah, another Metamorphosis used, and this tower is untouched, so a lineup with a Terrorblade and a Death Pot, but they're taking their time before they can actually mobilize as, you know, 4 or 5 and start with the huge push waves.
Yeah, but they're probably feeling pretty confident right now. They've got 2 towers down so far. They know if they just secure Blink Dagger on Sankey, then everything's great.
Yep.
It's gonna be so much easier for them. Not that they're hard yet, but gotta make it easy for you.
Up in the top lane, Vici just going, trying to get some push down of their own. I mean, what kind of timer are Vici on? When do they really want to hit their stride as a lineup? Oof.
Whenever LFY's ultis are down. Like, don't fight into ultis, I guess.
No, drag forward. It's like Storm Spirit's in a bit of trouble here. Gonna burn most of his mana trying to zip away. Will make it back towards his half of the map. The Caustic not gonna finish him off. Firefly still coming in. TP gonna be cancelled from the Earth Spirit as Ori is just
TP
fine.
coming in.
Oh, yeah. But is she gonna be able to find him for the nukes?
Radiant's top tower is under
Always sticks
attack.
around for the creeps. Silence.
Yeah, that's a quick little kill there. They bring the Batrider in just to make sure it all went as planned, but very nice. They're going to pop the Exorcism. Meanwhile, there is going to be a tier 2 push coming out from Vici. They sack their Storm, but they're at least trying to get some map control off of it. Death Prophet's just fine handling this by herself as TP comes in. You have Batrider waiting in the wings, but without backup, you can't initiate on this.
Sand King's gonna have a faster blink than Bat this game.
Dire's
It's
bottom
pretty
tower
insane to
has
think about
fallen.
with how great Bat's lane went for the first couple of minutes.
Yeah.
He actually
This,
has blink
This Sand King sat in the safe lane for the first 6 minutes of the game as well, and he still managed
and did nothing.
Exactly. We did something. Just don't do it once.
He was there, right? He was like, okay, Earth Spirit's not roaming mid. I'll try and draw Earth Spirit down here. It's just, I'm here, guys. Please don't kill our TB.
Well, comes forward. They've got some TB illusions, but for now, LGD.Forever playing real safe behind their tier 2. And Batrider is still like 500 gold off his blink. That's not great for him. Now smoke pops. Storm Spirit gonna be walking forward. Immediate Sandstorm to try to disjoint, but he does get silenced up. Burrow Strike connects in the storm. They buy some time. Meanwhile, there is gonna be a Static Storm onto the Oracle. There's no saving now, but DP Super Red just goes in, and well, that's going to be a short duration on the Soul Siphon. They're chasing down Amy, who's going to be trying to roll to freedom temporarily, but the mana pool is not in his favor. Meanwhile, back towards mid lane, Batrider able to go and drag back the Juggernaut. Terrorblade goes, gets off the Sunder. Oh man, how too happy about that. Bristleback now has to play way safer than he wanted to be. He can't just keep charging in and taking all the damage in the world. Storm Spirit going to be zipping back in and try to reinitiate onto the Terrorblade. They know he's got no Sunder and he's getting super low. The Oracle's there to heal him up, to keep him alive, but eventually he does fall. And now Epicenter coming in. They're trying to get the kill onto Yang, but that's a hard kill to find. The Quills making quick work of the Sand King. It seems like everyone else on Vici will be able to get away. Storm zips himself across the river, and that's going to be the end of the fight. How just going to go for that spin TP, and there's not much they can do about it. So, in the end, that was LFY unfortunately not getting what they needed.
Trying to kill a 400 HP Bristleback. Good luck.
With his back turn running away from you.
Yeah,
Like that.
he actually got sundered, and he had 400 health at the beginning of the fight, and turns around and hits people.
It was TB using like a third or half of his Metamorphosis duration, just hitting into Bristle while his back was turned as well. No other targets were given to him. Storm zipped high ground. Static Storm was dropped on Oracle to stop any ultis or heals coming out.
Yeah,
like
very
Vici.
nicely played from Vici there, and that was even with LFY picking up Twin Dagger too. Insane.
Yep. I mean, he had a full duration Epicenter slapping around, but unfortunately it just didn't get the kills that they needed.
Crimson Guard up on Bristleback too. Good luck killing this guy.
Whew. He is tanky. Vici now not really afraid to take those fights, not afraid to walk into Exorcism, walk into a Terrorblade Metamorphosis.
Annie, you said Terrorblade's your favorite hero, right?
Skywrath Mage, but Terrorblade is a third. Skywrath, Chaos, Terrorblade. I think pushing is fun, but Skywrath is just the best, so.
Radiant's
Not
bottom
as
tower
much as like
is
watching
under
these
attack.
heroes lose because they sneak.
Got me. Batrider going for a pretty deep flap around here with the Firefly, but how going to keep himself safe? Going in for that Diffusal Blade before finishing a Manta or anything. And we've seen more and more Diffusals just being prioritized as like a first real item.
Yeah, we've seen a
Very
bunch
nice.
of Chinese jugs go for like Diffusal Shadow Blade as well. They don't like going for the Manta Diffuse, and they don't like going Blink or anything like that, or S and Y. They love the early damage output, the ability to kite people and slow them. But I think just chasing people with Diffusal Blade is huge in these games. Especially when you have a Bristle, right? You Diffusal one and you just keep the chase going and going and going.
Yeah.
There's also the utility in purging off the Yule, so she can't really use that as a defensive tool.
Yep.
A lot of value in the item for sure, and it's also an extremely high damage item for its cost. So
Over here?
LFY. They have 2 Blink Initiators, their abilities are up, but they probably feel like they can't fight.
Yeah, I mean, how do you fight into Bristleback? Do you have to wait for Silver Edge or what, or just get more raw damage going for you?
Well, that's what we talked about in the draft, right? Silver Edge, and then
No
we
one
looked at
buys
the
it.
heroes and we kind of just sitting there going, huh, no one's really gonna buy it.
Well, looks like Batrider's going to make a go of just charging onto this Earth Spirit, but I don't know if that lasso is going to be long enough. They bring in the Death Prophet, who does have that Crypt Swarm for nuke, and that'll finish the job. Looks like there's just going to be a TP out from the Juggernaut, keeping his cores safe, so LFY, they bring 4 heroes down to that bot lane to secure the kill.
It's just like a piecemeal kill. Here's an Earth Spirit. Stay away from the Roshan area. We'll split push top. You split push bottom. We'll get a bit of farm. We'll trade off across the map. Giving away an ES there is, no big loss to Vici Gaming, because they don't plan on they don't plan on fighting into ultis of LFY. They don't want to wait for the ulti to be used and then try and kite them and play around them.
Yeah, it's such a low value kill. Like, DJ honestly probably outfarmed 20 seconds of setting up on that
Yep.
guy. It's crazy to think, but it's just the way this game's going right now. VGJ farming, or sorry, not VGJ, VG just farming everything, and LFY probably feel extremely pressured to. I guess they could always just run into Roshan. They have DP ults and Metamorphosis to force that, but if VG find them, I mean, they have to just sit there and tank Bristleback. They can't run away against Disruptor as well. Not an easy game.
Big smoke in, they're hunting. Looks like they've drawn the wraparound onto Ori on the map, but it's going to be a tricky kill. They just got to keep him chain silenced, chain locked down, and he just had that Bloodstone Suicide now, so they're going to start things off. They do end up getting the root on him, and yeah, he just gets off the Suicide.
Nice kill there. I mean, even though he did Suicide, it is his freshly picked up Bloodstone. He definitely does not want to die. So,
Yeah.
stack up those charges to hopefully use that instant one for a nice team fight, but I mean, at the end, they're probably still not too concerned, right? It looks like they're grouping up for a smoke here, trying to make something happen. Launch it for both hit.
Oh, the smoke gonna be popped there by the Sand King. He's able to blink himself to freedom. They're rolling pretty deep from this, but he's gonna be able to TP the electric vortex. Oh! Okay. So that was a really big waste of Vici's time.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely want to make something happen. Storm has 0 mana now. Nothing will be happening for quite some time.
Terrorblade also with a new Manta going towards that BKB, so gonna feel a lot more impactful in these fights, just bringing more illusions in, eventually surviving a little bit longer. Now they see Hal making his way into the river, just spinning up, but it's gonna be a pretty dangerous clash for LFY.
Vici are actually smoking up again.
Ooh. Just trying to catch LFY off guard, I guess. They are gonna make their way towards the Roche pit, maybe anticipating that Radiant just won't be feeling it, but the Radiant scan, as soon as these guys are off the map, they know something's up.
Double damage on Stargate as well. Roast is back. Probably one of the best first game heroes of the
Underlord? Oh.
Right about him.
Yep, Afu gonna be looking for a heroic Burrow Strike. Death Prophet is able to go and get up for exorcism. Meanwhile, Sand King just trying to go and channel up his ult, but he is silenced now. There's Magnetize doing some work. Monet just sitting on the high ground cliff, laying in the right clicks with Metamorphosis. How getting low, even through the spin. We've got some frame drops as Death Prophet continues to move forward. Amy gonna make his way out for now, but there's the epi we were looking for that finally takes out the Storm Spirit. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, support for a core. There's the second kill they were hoping for as they do finally find the Earth Spirit. And the rest of Vici, they're just gonna go take their Ancients and back off and retreat.
But they can't transfer that into a Roshan or an Aegis still, right? They've popped all their ultis, they've committed, they get a couple of kills, and sure enough one of them's the Storm. But overall, net win-wise, it's probably still Vici Gaming, because they'll be up and running in a couple of seconds with no meta, with no exorcism. They can go back in. They can look for another fight.
The unfortunate part, Storm's Bloodstone down to 6 charges, but...
And that fight went so well because they managed to focus down the Oracle at the start. Couldn't get off False Promise, couldn't use any spells.
Awkward fight. Jumped in the fight.
So Batrider just goes in, no lasso, I guess, just seeing what he can get done. Burrow Strike though, the Disruptor in some trouble, gonna get chunked down. Super now on a mega kill streak. This Death Prophet though, still no ultimate to her name for 70 seconds. So she's just gotta go and try to run herself to freedom. Sand King gonna take one for the team here. Oracle trying to run his way up onto the high ground, but the rest of Dire are gonna keep chasing him. He dodges out the boulder, but not the rest of the damage comes through as Storm Spirit zips in. So now 2 heroes dead on LGD.Forever, and Vici feel much safer going into this road.
Yeah. This Roche, they're the no really one fight of LFY right now. And the Aegis in the lineup like this, when they put off the big cooldown. Now when they do have the big cooldown, they can actually fight into it. And even if they trade like each fight, they can just go right back like you just saw. They died. Now they're back fighting. How have so much.
Batrider gets the Blink Lasso on the Earth Spirit that was zoning the pit, and they're going to bring in the Terrorblade as the Roche gets low. Is it quick enough? Terrorblade goes in, he's just trying to do as much damage as possible. The Death Prophet getting off a nice chain of Soul Siphons and, well, spin away from the Juggernaut. They have to leave the pit as Roshan is just so low, and Burrow Strike onto 2. They catch the Storm Spirit, the Crimson Guard doing a lot of work here as Oracle needs a little bit more healing. The Storm Spirit does end up going down for 30 seconds when the Roche is so tantalizingly low. Yang is still hanging around the pit, not going to give this one up without a fight. But do they have enough damage to take him out? They briefly root him in place, and now the Exorcism is back off cooldown. Vici weren't able to get this done quick enough, and LFY, they got the patience. They're going to get all the kills that they need, and the Roshan is theirs for the taking. Oh.
Is there a way to see how much damage Reflection did? Because that spell, when TB walked into the middle of that pit and cast Reflection, Juggernaut basically took himself to 1/3 of his HP from full.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Kills himself on that spell. It's quite sad. I mean, apparently their team fight was plenty strong enough without Metamorphosis and Exorcism to the very end of the fight there. Oh, I mean, the Solar Crest on DP feels quite good against their lineup. Even Storm, heavily right-click dependent. It's not like, you know, Earth Spirit and Disruptor do have big AoE teamfight ultimates, but they're mostly, you know, Disruptor's just control-based, right? It's not really a big damaging spell. And Earth Spirit's that long damage over time, and TV casts under really deep heals over time, so... Run into a bit of a damage problem here on VG. Now with Aegis, it's going to get even harder.
Yeah, Ori on the Storm Spirit having trouble staying alive. Just 3 deaths immediately in a row, and his Bloodstone down to 5 charges after he recently picked it up. Feeling a lot less impactful.
Not looking very good for Storm Spirit this game. Just feels like he doesn't deal enough damage at all these fights. There's even an Oracle too, if anyone gets somewhat low.
He's kind of having to go on the Oracle, but he's able to go on a target. The trouble is, like, his teammates can't do the same thing. Like, we see a lot of impact from the Sand King, able to disrupt team fights by blinking and borrowing. But Storm jumps onto one, Earth Spirit can maybe follow, but the fact that Juggernaut has Diffusal and, you know, no movement speed items apart from Phase, no Yasha, no Shadow Blade, no Blink Dagger, he's kind of stuck walking through TB illusions and walking, you know, through Sand King stuns to try and get onto the target that they want to focus with Storm. And then realizing halfway through that he has to go onto someone else.
He's
LFY.
actually very, very poor.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Sand King goes in, they find the initiation on the Earth Spirit. Probably just going to be a quick kill. He's silenced up, he's rooted in place, and blasted down by DDC. So Poverty Oracle gets a little bit more gold to his name. There we go. So just quick picks for LFY, really starting to add up.
LFY in a commanding position. They can't fight this team even when they don't have Aegis. No real damage lineup right now.
Dire's
This
middle
tier 2 tower about to get pummeled. They do have the Exorcism, but just going to see what Metamorphosis can do. Fortify being used immediately, and now Scan. So Radiant know that there's at least one Dire hero hanging out in the bot lane. Got a little bit more of a window to push in here. Batrider smoked up. Guys, able to go and break that TP through the spin. They just got to supply enough damage. They bring in Super. Yeah, they got the silence. They got exactly what they need. Even with the healing ward, they kill him off. Meanwhile, towards the mid lane,
They just glimpse the DP back to mid so she can push.
I think that's what happened.
Steal assist.
That's an accident.
That, I mean, I guess they were just trying to buy some time for the Jug, but that is unfortunate, as now Super gets to go with that Exorcism still off cooldown to push the tier 3.
That's real bad.
That is real unfortunate. Disruptor is probably kicking himself there. They do get the Burst Strike initiation off onto the Bristleback. Zoning Kinetic Field, trying to keep everyone back. The Terrorblade Illusion still able to go and slap it down. Super's Exorcism doing some work, even through the backdoor protection. Once the creep wave gets here, it's going to be nasty. LFY.
So a little bit of a different take on the ulti cycling the Chinese teams have been doing a lot of. Instead of like Shadow Shaman Serpent Wards and then Lycan ulti or DK ulti, they've got the TB ulti in the Metamorphosis and the Exorcism from DP to do like a proxy push or a hard push. So they've got multiple options when they're pushing tier 1s, tier 2s and or tier 3s. Depending on how much they want to commit, they can use, you know, 1, 2 or even 3 ultis if you count the epicenter from the Sand King to zone people in the back.
Yeah, so LFY, I mean, they definitely get what they wanted out of that. They weren't able to go and actually find more kills, actually crack that tier 3 open and get those shrines down, but still, Death Prophet is very happy with getting glimpsed back in to go push with their team.
That is quite an unfortunate thing. We were able to just chip out the mid tower. But I guess in the end, no real damage done. Cooldown used. Aegis is going to expire relatively soon. But I just don't see how we take any of these fights right now. We can see them in these team fights trying to jump Oracle because they know that Oracle's just going to save whoever they go on, but without it working on Storm, it's not like bursting Oracle is going to be quick. Perhaps they could jump someone else and rely on the Earth's land, the Silence, and Oracle instead. But even then, LFY have so much counter initiation. They have Batrider to start the fight, Sand King as well to just sit back and wait, line up.
Yep, Sand King now done with his Force too, so great mobility on LFY for now.
What on earth does Jug do this game? Like,
Farms.
you do just have to go and farm for the next 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, probably wishing he wasn't picked this game. Juggernaut is not a very good match.
Aegis expires on the Terrorblade, so LFY can't go quite as YOLO, but looks like they might still be making a go at Yang here. Blink in from Batrider. They do have that Sand King making his way forward. There's the 4-staff in that they needed, and yet he's going to get dragged back, silenced up, and just totally controlled out. His kill's not doing enough to save his life, so now they've lost a bunch of their tank, and Vici feel unsafe taking a fight.
Like, what hero would you have preferred instead of the Jug? Like, a Slark matchup against the Bat would have been decent, then you still do decent against TB in fights thanks to Shadow Dance, so you can't stun TB. But I don't know if Slark is like fast enough for this game.
I think there's no one hero that would have to be a combination. That
Okay.
different matchups as well. Like perhaps Bristleback would be in the safe lane along with the better or a different offlaner. Better. But then you also run into this problem where like even the Storm isn't going to deal great damage against these heroes right now because the sword, right? Storm, he's probably about 50% magic damage, but it's heavily right-click based to proc his overload charges, right? So when you're missing and you're silenced, you're not dealing damage that way either. I don't know. It's definitely not one individual thing. It's a combination.
Here I am.
Strong Spirit with that BKB done, looks like he's going in towards the Orchid. No surprises in the builds, but in terms of net worth, he's falling just a little bit behind to the Radiant Heroes. This Terrorblade topping out the charts here, and he's going for a Scotty.
Still feels pretty bad buying BKB's second item on Storm.
Yeah.
No Yule, no Orchid, Shivers, Hex.
Definitely, Orchid is what you'd ideally like, so we'd plan on sub first. It's one of those games. You don't have BKB, you're good.
Wraparound comes in, the Batrider able to go, get the blink, get the pick they're looking for, the Exorcism rocking out. Bristleback once again locked down, he just feels like nothing, he tries for the TP out, but that's a godlike streak now from Super. And they know that LFY, they're going to push to their heart's content. Vici can't stop that without the Bristle, he's dead for 45 seconds.
And
He's
they
got
have Meta,
buyback.
right? And they have Metamorphosis still, right?
Yeah, they're still holding it.
20 seconds, but it'll be fine. Exorcism won't last long enough.
Dire's
If they want to
tower
commit,
has
it looks
fallen.
like the safe option is taken.
That's right, these are the TI qualifiers here. There are no throws. We are gonna farm.
Game number 3.
Wait for next Roshan.
Yeah.
This is game 3, yeah, 1-1. So now we get to see the classic, you know, 35, 40 minutes in. We don't want to throw, we don't want to lose this game, so we're going to go stand around the Rosh pit for a good 5-6 minutes and wait for one team to make a mistake.
Yeah, I imagine this game. The next Roche if LFY happened to take it, which looks pretty convincing right now. I mean, it just doesn't look like even with Storm going for the second match. They'll survive it despite it, but not to be able to kill anyone and have any real impact. But I mean, that's not like a fault to the item build or anything. It's just how the game plays out with his current level of farm against the position, right?
Yep. So how do LFY close this out? I mean, are they on a pretty strict timer, or can they just chill and farm to the heart's content, keep taking Roche, and rely on the fact that Vici just got a really rocky start?
And they definitely have the scaling advantage in this. Like, Batrider is going to make these heroes have to itemize for things here. Photos Orb. Terrorblade is naturally like a 40 armor hero with his item build, which is amazing against Juggernaut and Bristleback. And then he's got the Oracle save as well, so...
Power went into the pit, it was popped, but they can't seem to find anyone, they can't seem to initiate. So this is really deep positioning now from Vici. This Bristleback that's been chain killed, now jumping in. The Storm Spirit gonna jump up near the shrine, but immediately gets locked down. Sand King gonna take a Magnetize as all of the Dire are now cornered around the Radiant Shrine that's activated. Yeah, Metamorphosis comes out, Batrider still BKB'd, flying around. The Storm Spirit BKB gets wasted. He's not able to do much with it. Now it's down, he has to play safe. Rocks coming through, they do stun up the Terrorblade, but meanwhile Super just gonna continue that godlike streak, and now Bristleback, he's tanky, but he's just taking too much damage. He can't live through this, he's gonna get rooted in place by the Oracle. They lock him down, they get the beyond godlike streak continuing for the Death Prophet, and they're just gonna keep going up. Juggernaut has to spin TP out, but they cancel it at the last second. This is just brutal. Vici just getting punched in the gut, and now they burrow strike him, they lock him down, and that's gonna be 3 heroes dead. 2 of them have buyback, but this tier 2 is going to be toast. They can retreat back for the Roche. Meanwhile, there is some split push happening from Ori, but this is not ideal.
Static Storm missing. Oracle was sitting behind with False Promise. No targets to go on. Things just went from bad to worse for Vici.
Yeah, but they are going to back up with the buyback there. DP ulted with an Arcane Rune, so Longest cooldown on ultimate. I mean, that fight was easy for them. That fight was them winning without Death Prophet using it.
It was also Vici took the shrine at an or took the fight at a shrine that they could just activate and stay in that small AoE. So for now, LFY, they're not going to charge right into the Roche pit. They make their way there, but anticipating that Vici are going to at least mount somewhat of a defense, because, I mean, another lost Aegis here is really, really rough for Vici to fight against.
Yeah, Vici's lineup is really good at doing Roche, but in order for them to be able to do Roche, LFY has to be caught sleeping to really do that. You know, both teams are looking for Roche.
I mean, what happens if Vici go in, they get an amazing Roche fight, 5 wipes on LFY, and they get an Aegis? Like, can they even turn that into enough structures to turn this around?
I mean, at best, it delays the game to get some more farm, but LFY will probably still be able to out-farm it at the stage of the game, because even with the Aegis and Cheese, they'd probably still be.
Initiation in, Disruptor gonna be locked down, so we can't use that Static Storm. Just easy money right there, these little picks. And now that they know there's no zoning tool in the Static Storm, they can just head into the Roche pit feeling safer.
Zoning what? Excuse me?
I said stool instead of tool Static Storm. It's very late and I'm very tired. So here we go. It's the zoning stool. You don't want to walk into that, man.
Stub your toe on it.
Yeah, don't want to get your shoes gross. So Exorcism being spent for the road here. They've got to take it as quickly as possible. The Solar Crest helping out from the DP. Double damage rune pinged out from the Dire down bottom though.
On the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, dude, the Earth Spirit's gonna go kick creeps and take names, man.
Living the life. Double damage to the bottom.
Now, Aegis is gonna be on Terrorblade now, and he's holding on to our yummy cheese. It is our DP, so... Yeah, LFY feeling real secure. Looks like they are gonna make their way down bottom. Ori hiding in the trees. Again, still just 5 Bloodstone charges. And yeah, they're both gonna TP out simultaneously.
Yep, looks like LFY just gonna play it slow until DP ults up again. 1 minute till that's up. And I mean, they're in no real rush. Like, this is their big timing. Hit structure safe. Aegis and Cheese up. Terrorblade and DP both extremely farmed. I mean, and even Oracle's 1400 health. Bristleback probably takes 15 seconds to kill this guy if he is AFK at the keyboard and casts no spells.
That's the value bracers there, and is it gonna go for an Atos or just leave it at that?
Yep, looks like an Atos. Of course, doesn't have it quite yet, but good against the Storm Spirit, helps lock him down and just more control in general.
TB queuing up the SKB now. TB sparing no expense, just immediate metamorphosis, and the tower starts to melt with the creep wave there. No more backdoor protection to rely on for Vici. Now Storm just zipping in, trying to do what he can with a couple of hits, but Tier 3 is now cracked. Shrine's now vulnerable. Yang, he's trying to frontline the best he can, but he hasn't been so successful living through these last couple of fights, as Monet is still just right-clicking away and away and away at these racks.
Right now, Vici are wishing healing ward work in building.
Oh, there we go. Batrider is able to go through and drag the Juggernaut away from his team. How just has to sit there, and Omni Slashes just expand his life. Meanwhile, he's just doing pretty good work. Ori on the back line, able to go through and take out DDC. We're watching frame by frame as the Radiant are looking to close this one out. The Burrow Strike catches onto the Storm Spirit. He's still silenced up, and that's going to be a double kill to Sunder. To get Juggernaut just a little bit lower. That double damage on the Earth Spirit not quite doing enough, as it's looking unlikely that this can be turned around. All buybacks spent from Vici if they've got them, but they're still fighting 3v5. Super's still alive. The Exorcism's still rolling. It will now be collected, and Afu, maybe a consolation prize. 3 heroes from LFY go down. Monet now running for his life, but this is going to be Vici just trying to cut their losses and maybe live for another fight. Storm Spirit jumps forward, but now he's fresh out of mana. They can't really continue much. Monet just going to turn this around. The Death Prophet waiting in the wings. The silence comes in onto the TB, but he's still up and fighting. They're trying to force Vici into a bad position. Now Diffusal comes onto Super.
TB has Aegis Sunder.
Yeah, TB does have Aegis Sunder. He's now going to go BKB, pops the Sunder. Death Prophet now back up to full health with the Soul Siphons. And this looks to be just about it. 2 heroes now dead in the grave without buyback. The Juggernaut, a huge source of damage for Vici, is just not available to defend these racks. Whew.
I guess it's a chase you have to make, right? You can't not chase heroes out of your base and look for a kill.
Oh, no, they're going in, and they will find.
Yeah.
Terra, these 2 supports, yeah, they're just sauntering back to their fountain, and they have to call GG. There's no damage left, so LFY, they're moving on, and Vici will drop down to the lower bracket.
2 or 3 fights in a row where Static Storm hits no one, or the people inside have BKBs and they just run out. Really hampered the efforts of Vici to actually find targets to latch onto.
Let's be honest, Gareth, he could hit a 6-man Static Storm.
And it wouldn't change.
Not doing anything. Yep.